Stop everything. Doha just witnessed history. Alex Eala, ranked outside the top 100, turned a routine first-round match into a once-in-a-lifetime spectacle, completely selling out Khalifa International Stadium against Aryna Sabalenka. Not a seat empty. Not a voice silent. This wasn't just a match, it was a seismic moment tennis will never forget in modern history. Let me put this into perspective. While Alex Eala was unleashing pure chaos in Doha with 7,000 fans roaring her name, Grand Slam champions were competing in half-empty arenas. Tournament directors surveyed a lineup packed with former world No. 1s and major winners and made a stunning call: the 20-year-old Filipino would headline the night. That single decision flipped traditional tennis scheduling on its head. When tickets were released, they vanished within minutes. What was supposed to be a routine Tuesday first-round clash turned into a frenzy. Resellers circled instantly. Security scrambled as crowds flooded the player entrance, desperate for a glimpse. Early rounds are usually quiet, polite, forgettable. This felt like a final. The energy was electric, relentless, historic, like tennis had suddenly entered a completely different dimension. What happened in Doha wasn't just loud, it was historic. The Filipino community in Qatar didn't just show up, they mobilized. Social media lit up days before the match. Group chats turned into coordination hubs. Community leaders rallied support. Fan clubs organized ticket pushes. This wasn't a corporate promo campaign or artificial hype machine. There were no flashy giveaways or forced marketing angles. This was grassroots passion, thousands of overseas Filipinos seizing a rare chance to see one of their own shine on one of tennis's biggest stages. Now picture the contrast unfolding inside the same venue. While Alex Eala walked into a thunderstorm of 7,000 screaming supporters, multiple Grand Slam champions stepped onto courts that were barely half full. Aryna Sabalenka, major winner, former world No. 1, played in front of scattered sections of empty seats. Iga Swiatek's early round match had entire blocks unoccupied. These are players who, by traditional tennis logic, should automatically command attention anywhere they compete. They've conquered Wimbledon. They've dominated Roland Garros. They've climbed to the very summit of the sport. And yet in Doha they were competing for background noise while a 20-year-old ranked outside the top 100 owned the spotlight. That reality has to sting. Imagine reaching the pinnacle of professional tennis, multiple majors, global endorsements, top ranking, and then watching the electricity of an entire tournament revolve around someone who hasn't even won a WTA title yet. The psychological impact of that shift is brutal. It forces uncomfortable questions about what truly drives modern sports relevance. Because here's what Eala understands, whether consciously or instinctively, that many others don't: tennis success today isn't measured solely by serve speed or backhand precision. It's about representation. It's about cultural identity. It's about belonging. Those Filipino fans weren't just applauding clean winners. They weren't analyzing shot selection or debating tactical patterns. They were celebrating visibility. For decades, global tennis has largely been dominated by European and American faces. Suddenly, here was someone who looked like them, spoke like them, carried their story onto an international platform. That emotional connection is powerful beyond statistics. The match itself became a psychological warzone. Imagine preparing for a standard first-round atmosphere, polite clapping, murmurs between points, and instead walking into a sonic blast every single time you strike the ball. That kind of energy can elevate you to impossible heights or completely overwhelm you. Eala had to manage 7,000 voices screaming her name without letting adrenaline push her into reckless overhitting. And this wasn't a soft matchup. Aryna Sabalenka brought serious weapons: heavy ground strokes, a powerful serve, physical presence. She'd beaten Eala before. The head-to-head favored the Czech. Stylistically, Eala had struggled against that kind of power in the past. On paper, this should have leaned toward Sabalenka. But mentally, this wasn't the same Eala from 2 years ago. The defensive discipline she sharpened at the Rafa Nadal Academy became crucial. She absorbed pace. She extended rallies. She forced extra shots. She made Sabalenka hit one more ball, then one more, until impatience crept in. Instead of being swallowed by the noise, she weaponized it. One moment in the second set captured everything. Pulled wide on the backhand side, nearly in the doubles alley, Eala sprinted full stretch and somehow flicked a down-the-line passing shot that clipped the corner. The roar that followed wasn't just loud, it was seismic. The stadium shook. Phones went up. Clips exploded online within minutes. It felt less like a tennis rally and more like a championship-winning goal in football. When the final point ended, the eruption was overwhelming. Then came the masterstroke. Eala grabbed the microphone and addressed the crowd in Tagalog. The reaction was instant hysteria. She thanked the overseas workers who had spent hard-earned money to attend. She spoke about feeling at home thousands of miles away from the Philippines. In that moment, the match transcended sport. It became cultural affirmation. That bond between athlete and community transforms entertainment into identity. Meanwhile, somewhere in the players' hotel, established champions had to be processing what just happened. Sabalenka, a legitimate title favorite with multiple slam trophies, suddenly felt secondary at a tournament where she should logically headline. Organizers poured promotional weight behind a player without a WTA title. But from a business perspective, it was the correct decision. Eala sells in Qatar. The Filipino expatriate community shows up in force. They bring passion. They create atmosphere. Other demographics either don't attend in comparable numbers or don't generate that same intensity. Tennis has long relied on rankings and Grand Slam counts to dictate scheduling priorities. Doha exposed the flaw in that model. Cultural connection can outweigh ranking points. From a pure marketing standpoint, Eala's value in that market surpasses players ranked far above her. Tournament directors worldwide are studying what happened. For years, primetime slots automatically went to top seeds under the assumption that higher rankings equal higher attendance. But what if the player with the most emotionally invested fanbase should headline instead? That's a philosophical shift. This moment also highlights the untapped potential of Southeast Asia. The WTA has spent years investing heavily in China, chasing scale and commercial growth with mixed outcomes. The Philippines represents something different: raw emotional loyalty. A diaspora willing to mobilize globally. A fan base that feels personally connected to one athlete's journey. Eala might be the gateway to that market. If her trajectory continues upward, we could see more events targeting Southeast Asia or increased global promotional emphasis around her presence. Not because of ranking alone, but because of engagement power. For casual observers, this may look like a one-off spectacle. A novelty. A unique cultural flare-up in one city that it's not. It signals a structural shift in how tennis relevance is built. The sport is no longer controlled solely by trophies and statistics. It's shaped by identity, diaspora communities, digital amplification, and emotional ownership. Diane Doha, a player outside the top 100, didn't just win a match. She rewrote the attention economy of tennis in real time. For decades, the power structure of tennis has revolved around Europe and the United States. The infrastructure, the media attention, the sponsorship money, everything has traditionally flowed toward those established markets. Players from those regions became the faces of the sport, and the system reinforced itself year after year. Meanwhile, countries with massive populations and deep sporting passion, like the Philippines, remained largely untapped. Not because the fans weren't there, but because they never had a singular figure to rally behind. Now they do. And in Doha, that reality exploded into full view. The Philippines has a global diaspora that stretches across continents. In places like Qatar, that community is large, tight-knit, and fiercely supportive. For years, they consumed tennis from a distance. But when Alex Eala stepped onto that court, they finally had representation at the highest level. The result? A sold-out stadium for a first-round match, while Grand Slam champions competed in front of scattered crowds. That contrast should make the entire tennis establishment pause. Because what Eala demonstrated is simple but disruptive: emotional connection can outweigh career accomplishments when it comes to filling seats. The evidence was undeniable. Empty sections for multiple major winners. A packed arena for a player without a professional title. That's not a fluke, that's a market correction. And it changes everything moving forward. Tournament organizers can no longer treat her like a standard lower-ranked player. You can't hide her on an outside court or slot her into a quiet morning session. The demand won't allow it. She dictates scheduling now. That's the clearest definition of star power in professional sports, when the event adapts to you, not the other way around. But this rise comes with serious risk. The emotional output from a match like that is enormous. Young players often win these huge, atmosphere-driven battles in front of what feels like a home crowd, only to come out flat in the next round. The adrenaline crash is real. Sports psychologists call it an adrenaline hangover. The body and mind struggle to recalibrate after such a surge. That Eala's team now faces a different kind of challenge. Recovery becomes critical. Sleep, hydration, mental reset, everything must be managed carefully. The tournament isn't won in round 1, no matter how historic the moment felt. As the draw gets tougher, fundamentals matter more than noise. Execution, discipline, and composure will determine whether this was a magical night or the beginning of something sustainable. Still, perception shapes legacy. The images of empty seats at other marquee matches compared to the electric, sold-out Eala session will linger long after the trophy is handed out. Even if a top seed lifts the title at the end of the week, the defining storyline of the tournament may already be written. The Qatar Open became about Eala the moment the chants started echoing. She injected urgency and emotion into what could have been just another early season stop on the calendar. For established champions like Sabalenka and other top seeds, this presents a complicated psychological reality. On paper, they are superior players right now. Their resumes are undeniable. But they can't manufacture what Eala generates naturally. That's a difficult truth to confront. Being the most accomplished player doesn't automatically make you the most compelling figure in the arena. Excellence and relevance are not always the same thing. The Filipino supporters prove something tennis authorities can't afford to ignore: deeply engaged fan bases are the lifeblood of professional sport. Technical brilliance means little if the stands are quiet. Energy sustains the spectacle. Passion drives revenue. Connection builds longevity. Eala possesses something that cannot be coached or constructed through branding strategy alone. She has a built-in global following. Filipino communities exist in nearly every major city worldwide. That means wherever she plays, there's potential for a surge of support that transcends rankings. That's a competitive advantage unrelated to forehands or footwork. It's cultural. It's demographic. And it's powerful. For players who have dominated purely through results, this moment signals a shift. Modern star power demands more than trophies. It requires resonance. It requires identity. It requires representing something larger than individual success. So when Eala sold out an entire stadium for a first-round match while Grand Slam champions played to half-empty crowds, it wasn't just a scheduling anomaly. It was a statement. The Qatar Open organizers recognized it. They placed her at the center of the event, ahead of higher-ranked names. The atmosphere validated that choice. The economic impact reinforced it. Tennis is evolving. Star power isn't defined solely by rankings anymore. It's defined by connection. And right now, Eala understands that better than anyone.